You are law. Hey guys, I just want to do this clip here on you are law. And what do I mean by you are law? Um, I've had guidance come into me and then tell me that because you are law. You're what you set. You're your boundaries, your limitations, you are your belief systems. You are law. And what you set is your law, right? Nobody puts that on you but yourself. And I know that's hard to believe, that we're in the creation, the making of our own issues, our own life, our own experiences, but you're a law. You set your own boundaries. You set your own belief systems. You set your own, actions and behaviors, things like that. Um, and then every time you do that, it's a set point, right? And so you live by that law. So you are law. You are the creator of law. And so when we are in the space of love, divinely connected with source in true love, I mean unconditioned, not true love as in I love you as another person, but true love, which is untainted or unconditioned love. When you're in that space, if you set that as your space, your intent, your intention to be in that space, then that's your law, right? If you put yourself into, okay, I'm an unhappy person, or I don't know how to do this, or those are your limitations. You're setting that law, because when you're setting an intention, it's a law that's being created by you, for you, as your way of life and intention. And so the universe calls it a law, and so when we live by law, we live by our limitation, right? It's solid, it's our conditioning, it's our framework, it's our vision, our view, and how we view the world outside of ourselves, because we set our own laws, right? And so that's the conditioned state. But if when we're in true love, which is source love, then we have none, right? And so from setting our law at uh, the oneness with source, to be in alignment with the true love, right? The one true love. Then we live from that space. And so when we live from that space, we bring that out into the world. And so when we bring that out into the world, we don't judge people, we don't condemn people, we don't tell them they're sinners, we don't tell them they're bad, we don't we live from that space, and that is our law. So we are the creators of our own law, and that's how the universe relates to that. So what are the laws that you're setting for yourself? What is the conditions and limitations that you're setting for yourself? What are the things that you're living by that you set by yourself? Because if you're going to set a law for yourself, you're the only one that can break that law, right? Nobody else can do it. Nobody can set it for you. That is your law. Now, they can bring in things for you, if you're going to accept that law, right? So they can do that. They can be like, oh, you're a bad person. Are you going to accept it? Because if you're going to accept it, then that's your law. It becomes your law. If you don't accept it, it's not your law. You don't live by that. You live by who you are, right? That's how they're going to choose to see you, but doesn't make it true. It's if you're accepting that as your law, as your truth, that's how you're going to live by. You set your own laws by how you live by in your life, in your world. And that's the way the universe puts it. You are your own law. You create your own law. You are law, right? There's also the law of one, right? So that's the unconditioned and the unconditioned state of who you are when you're your person, and then the one who you are not, that source that's not the person. So there's the law. And so I just want to kind of bring that out, and that does talk about it in the book. So when you hear me saying that about that, that's what it is. But you are the law. You create your own law. And then from that is what you set, and that's the kingdom that you bring. So when you are in the state of the one law, which is love, divine source, you don't need all these other laws. And I'm going to share that's in the book, because you have different levels of law. And I don't know if I have that here on that. Let me see if I have that real quick here. So there's the different laws, and I don't remember where I have that written, but yeah. So basically, you have the one law, that source, which is oh yeah, hierarchy of laws that govern humanity. Source law, which is oneness, love. To be love, you don't need any other laws, right? Because when you're divine love, you're living it, you're being it, you're showing that out into the world, and so that's what the eyes that you see through, which is divine love, right? Which is source love. That's the source law. Religious laws. That's when you're separate from your divine source. So a lot of people like to go to the next best thing where you feel like you need somebody else outside of you that you're related to, not your divine related connection. So your related law might be, religious belief systems, religious things like that, teachings, instead of your one divine connection. That's the next level down. So that's the religious law, which is separation. You're separated from divine source. So what else are you going to go to, right? Biblical commandments is the religious law. And then you have government law. So when you're further disconnected, that's where you're having life, you're might be doing things that are unhealthy, abusive, drugs. You might be, because you're even further separated, from that. It's an establishment in the world of humanity, from the way that I'm receiving this information, which are the basis of the laws, right? The conditioned form all the way up to divine. So the government laws would be like your last resort, human law, right? Policemen, jail, things like that. Because then you're more separated from source, because when you are divine source, you don't need all these other laws, because you are it, you're divine love, you're the light, if that makes sense. But the further you become away, you become into the darkness, which is the lack of love, which isn't sinning or anything. It's the disconnection of light, which is source of love. It's the separation from love into the lack of love, which is the conditioned state. And so the further away we are from source, we have depression, we have thoughts of harming not only ourselves but others. We can't see source in other people. We only see them for their conditioned state, and we're pointing fingers, arguing, anger, fighting, frustrating, and so the further we move away, they have in place the government laws, right? So and that tries to help keep people at bay who are in that stage, right? Your last resort. Because prior to that, then there's a lot of people who farther away from that stage, end up, either killing each other, things like that. And then the closer you get to source, you're going back up through the religious laws, and then that helps you establish and create your like the commandments. Don't kill. What are the don't lie, don't cheat, whatever it is that the commandments are. It's not saying religious, but they put them in the commandments of the biblical, which is not really religious, but they're associated with it because they relate it all together. It's man-made, created for the humanity. So and then you have from there it goes up into source love, which you don't need any of those if you're divinely connected, which is your true source, right? And so I made a video on how, like, when I surrendered myself, like I was in these other spaces, right? And so you have all these different laws, but when you are in divinely connected, you're seeing from that and you're being from that space, and you don't need these other laws to live by, because when you're living by source love law, right, which is a state of being, not really a law, but it's the will of source, right? It's all connected. Then you're able to see divine in other people, in other things. You understand that they're life, that they have value, their life has value, versus if you were in the government law, you're seeing that they're just a conditioned state of who we are, right, within ourselves, this projection of ourselves in that darkness that's separate from source, right, which is the lack of light, which is love. So when we're in love state, we can see outside of ourselves, um, that others have divinity in them. They have life. Their life is of value. They are source themselves just as we are. But when we're separate, we don't see that, right? And so I don't know if that's helpful, but those are the hierarchies of law that's in the book that I'm writing about for humanity from that perspective as it's being shared with me to put it in the book. And then, of course, the book will talk more about that, but I just wanted to kind of put that out there. But you are law. You are by the law that you live, right? And so whether that is a lack of love or love, right? And so from there, you're seeing through the eyes of where you are and what you're seeing, because like if you're not in the state in divine connection of source and love, then you're not seeing that in other people. Right? You're just seeing them who they are in their physical form, which showing up to you, which is related to you within you, right? So you have that within yourself, um, which is the projecting of yourself onto them. Because if you're focusing on something in a person, and so say, okay, I see this in them, but they have so much more to them that they're being, not just that. We all have everything within us because we're all from the same source, right? So we all have the ability to be happy, to be sad, to be mad, to be angry, to be blissful. We all have those things. We all have the ability to do everything, right? Because we are in human form. So we have all those within us. But if we're only focusing on one thing within that person, that's what's within you that you need to focus on, right? Instead of seeing them as your whole self as source divine, which is love, right? And having that acceptance for other people. So I don't know if that helps, or if you have any questions on that, drop them below. Like, share, and subscribe the videos that I'm putting out, because it does and will help other people. If it doesn't, even if it doesn't resonate with you, it's going to resonate with another person, and so they may just be needing to hear it. So definitely, it does help the channel to grow and for people, to get the information. So like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos of journeys.